Hello, my name is Clyde, and today I'm gonna showcasing you my proof of concept that I built on AI Growth Engineering Playbook with a little dashboard. This is a little proof of concept, and why I did this. This is literally a practical way to understand what this role does and how to apply the method inside a company. So after you watching this video, you could try to apply this method in your company. So, how to approach this role and how I do it? First of all, the AI growth engineering, it needed to support three main teams that are the sales, marketing, and growth and experimentation. You're gonna build a lot of tool fast and experiment new technology, new automation, new AI for basically you're gonna be the person that is gonna waste the most amount of time in your company so those three teams can work and not waste time with AI, and you're gonna resolve problem. So first of all, you need to understand the teams. What is the meaning of understanding a team? You need to understand the goal, so you need to map those goals, the workflows that they are already doing, the tools that they are using, and the metrics that they are planning everything, and discovering the bottlenecks because you're gonna see, okay, this workflow has a really big bottleneck. How can I help this bottleneck to be gone or reduce it, or you can move that bottleneck from a point to another. At the end of the video, I'm gonna showcase you something that happened to me with the company that I simply resolve all their problem with just moving the bottleneck at the end of the workflow. Now you're gonna think how that does help how a business. You're just moving it. You're gonna discover it later. So after understanding the team, you need to choose the smallest intervention. Why? Because you start with the process and maybe the smallest intervention it's a rule or an existing tool that they are not using very well. And something really important, the smallest intervention is not AI. AI is not is an option, of course, but it is not the starting point. The starting point is the problem, the bottleneck. And the smallest solution, it's almost always the best one. After doing all of this, maybe you found the bottleneck, you found the solution, you're gonna measure the results of your solution, of your tool, and of course your tool, I'm suggesting you really hard it is to preserve the human control because you need to remember that your role it's not to take the role of sales, marketing, and growth and experimentation, but it's to support them, and then to do their role faster and better. So after all of this, maybe you build your perfect workflow or your perfect tool. You need to transfer this knowledge to the team that is going to use the tool because it's not yours to take. I mean, to have. You're building it for other people. Then you can improve it, of course, and all the other stuff around. Here you have even open the full path that I built that you can almost use for every occasion, but now it's not really important. I'm gonna leave this the link of this website in the bio. So you need to understand the teams. What are the teams? The teams are sales, marketing, growth, and experimentation. Now I put some other teams here. At the end, I'm gonna tell you why. Let's make a quick look to all of these teams. What they do? They do a work. They usually have a workflow. They have the metrics with the recurring friction that usually are the bottlenecks, and the intervention. It's what you can do. Maybe you can put a qualification rules and reach and the duplication. Those are big problems for the sales. Human reviewed assisted draft and off automation. Those are the interventions that you can have in those roles. Now, you cannot build anything if you don't study the part of these roles, what metrics they have, what workflow they already tried or they are trying now, and what are the problems and why do they have those problems. You need to be a problem solver. You don't need to be a salesperson, to be honest, because it's easy to understand the metrics and everything than to understand the solution. Because if you are a salesperson, you cannot be a problem solver. You need to be a problem solver in this case. Same things with marketing. You have your workflow that are brief, content production, review, publication, measurement and reviews, the recurring friction that are incomplete briefs, repeated revision, scattered checks, manual publishing with the metrics of marketing and the intervention that you can have. Marketing template are one of the best things that you can do. I already did it sometimes with some business, building some templates, it helps a lot. Now you're going to see that sales and marketing have almost the same structure, workflow, metrics, recurring, and intervention. And the same happen to growth and experimentation. You're going to see this. But now what I'm saying, that all these roles are the same. No. Even these roles and these teams are different from company to company. Even if the business is almost the same, they're going to have different metrics, different workflow, and different friction. So bottlenecks, and your intervent is going to be different. Now that you understand that the structure is the same, even if it's not in the role of the AI growth engineering, you're going to see yourself that you can even help other teams in a different way, of course, because they are going to have different problem, workflow, and metrics. So in the future, you're gonna even be able to help other teams, but the name it's not gonna be AI growth engineering, but maybe AI automation engineering or something else. So we need to use the minimum level of complexity. This is a simple way: manual process, SOP, rule, existing tool, automation, LLM task, bounded agent, internal tool. And something really important that no one is talking in this role is that the workflow must outlive the tools. What that does mean? You as an AI growth engineer, you need to build workflows that are not related to the tools that you're using. I see a lot of people building only N8N automation without watching nothing else, not a single workflow, not a single skill, not a single internal tool. You don't need to be so attached to the tool, and you need to experiment a new tool. And why is that important? Because you experimenting a tool and wasting your time, it's so important because you're gonna permit the sales, marketing, and growth and experimentation team to only use something that you have already validate and enable, and they're not gonna waste the time. So it's better for one person to waste the time than for an entire team that can be maybe 10 person a team. It's literally so much person that waste time for no reason. Something really important that I suggest you to understand, and that I don't know, when you don't know the solution yet, what happens? You're gonna go in cries and you're not gonna do anything. You're gonna leave there a problem. No, a lot of time you don't know the solution yet. So you need to clarify the outcome, observe the process, separate fact from assumption. This is a big thing, and study alternatives and build the smallest possible test. I cannot repeat this stuff so many times, but it's really important. You need to build always the small test, the small tool, the small automation, because if you build something big, you're gonna waste a lot of time. You need to waste, yes, time, but time for little stuff, and then take all the little stuff that are right and put it together in a tool. I even build up from bottleneck to useful workflow. You can watch this, it's really easy. Find the constraint, encode the method, choose an execution, and transfer or build. It's repetitive, but it's good because every way does it in a different way here. Now, we want to see the method in action. What is this? Is this a production ready tool? No, this is simple, a proof of concept. We're gonna start with a guided demo. So here you're gonna see it like that because I'm registering everything for showing it in vertical. But if you have a normal PC 960, you're gonna see it like this. This is more appropriate. You're gonna have all the guided demo on the left and the dataset. In this case, I'm using a Fintech dataset from Kaggle with 5K rows with information. Now let's just do the select merchant lead. So in this case, we're pre-leading Italy, Milano, containing rows. So here we put in the P2P merchant lead enrichment. In this case, it's, as I said, a proof of concept. So it's not AI related. You're gonna do it all manually. you're gonna enrich and qualify all. In this case, I'm using make.com, so you're gonna send this to make.com and it's gonna add it to a database that you can contact later. And something really important, you can enable a local, this is not GDPR safe, this is only like data for yourself and your company if you want to anonymize everything. So in this mode, people that are gonna see are not gonna see, okay, the information as the contact of the person, the email, and other sensible information. So after qualified and reach, of course, we're gonna have a warning here because I built it like that. We can even use AI for maybe outreach draft, so building an automatic response. In this case, it's in Italian, I'm sorry. AI sales outreach assistant, you can even do this. As I said, I didn't implement any AI in this case because I didn't want to do it. This is a proof of concept. After this, you can go to the campaign preparation, like you want to automate and web publishing, so you want the sales and the marketing team to do this automatically without contacting your IT support or developer. They can literally generate and publish live a campaign or a cashback landing page. We're going to see that this is the live published URL. And you're gonna see everything here. Cashback attivo, 10%, Italy, Milano. This is in Italian because I built the website in Italian at start, but you can even put it in English, don't worry, because I'm from Italy. Here I implemented something that you can do later. This is all like idea that I had. And in this case, I would have done a controlled AI advisory for copy review. After this, we can go to experimental analysis. Maybe we need to do an experimental like CAC or whatever. You build this tool for the team, and you're gonna have everything. Now let's just save the experiment and proceed. After all of this, it's more than okay to have a summary and approval. So you're gonna have an executive decision packet. This is all simulated, by the way, with the data that I already told you, but it's so fast for those three teams to use this and not waste that much time. Okay, I need to pick the data there, put the SQL code and all the stuff. This is so easy, and here you have everything. You can approve, sign it, and then you're gonna save it in a database. And after all this, you have the estimated impact of everything, operational AI model settings. This is something more, of course, with all the workflow event log, who did what and why. So you have all saved. And why this is important, the workflow event log? It's important because you can see if the tool that you're using, that you created, it's really that used in the company and getting even feedback in some cases. So this is the little proof of concept with everything. Now, as I said before, we even have other tools because, as I said, as an AI growth engineering, the mental work, the method is the same. So you could help even other team of the business, like customer care, finance and recognition, FinCrime and fraud, HR talent, or building an AI workflow. So it's gonna suggest you how to build the NA10 or make.com workflow. And this is really good, I think, for maybe someone that is not that technical but wants something. He just explained to the AI how he want that, and the AI it's gonna describe and create it. And after, you could literally take this and send it to the AI growth engineering in that case. I even build a data acceleration, just load the dataset from Kaggle, and you have everything here with all the information. We can even check for anomaly. And this is really important, I think. This is a little gem. You're gonna optimize everything here, what you want, what you don't want. Let me put in English because no, this part is not in English, sorry. So you're gonna optimize how you want everything. And you can have the code, so you can copy this code and use it for take the data from your database or running a Panda script with Python, and it's really, really important. Here we are all the data and everything with what do we have, what don't we have, we can check it. It's really cool. Now, after all of this, yeah, we have the referral route, partner analytics, and everything. So this is basically the playbook with a little dashboard as a proof of concept. You can build other tools, other automation. In this case, I didn't create a case study, but I'm going to share with you a case study that I had some months ago with a business. And what I'm gonna teach you about this case study is the better workflow was not fast rendering. So what is this? You need a little bit of context. A company some months ago asked me to improve their quotation speed. They were convinced that the bottleneck was their 3D rendering process. And looking at the workflow, they weren't wrong. I'm gonna be honest. The problem was really that. So the team needed a high quality visual proposal for the quotation stage and not necessarily a faster final render. You need to understand this. But they had this workflow from almost 15 years, so they were thinking this is the only way to do it. And they wanted to implement AI. So usually the map flow was this: customer requests, quotation and preparation, full 3D rendering before the quotation approval, with customer response, and then if the customer accept, all this work was okay. But for doing all of this work, for every customer request for a quotation, they needed two person that work a full day. No, 2 full day for 2 person, so it's a lot of time. And the quality of the full 3D rendering, they were using all the software and they didn't want to change them. So it was a big problem. How do I help a company like that? The fastest way possible for me was to not eliminate this process, but to do this process that is the most time consuming after the customer say, yes, I want you and I'm gonna accept your quotation. But that is never gonna happen if you don't show the company something. So what I did here, really easy, not a fully legacy render, yeah, because I don't need that. I inserted inside of the workflow an AI assisted initial visual proposal. What is that? It's simply an image generated with AI. And how I did this, I just took all their past work, clean all the logo of old company and stuff, so they have fresh material. I prepare all the prompt and everything. So for every time that comes a new company, they could reuse old material for the new company with AI, of course, modifying the image. So the quality was way better, way faster. Like in 1 hour, they told me that now their workflow it's literally 1 hour. It's crazy going from today 2 person to 1 hour 1 person. So what changed? They have a faster first response. 1 person review the proposal instead of 2 person, producing an early full render, and the legacy rendering reserved for approval quotation and final work. The outcome was a shorter quotation step without removing control from quality critical process. So this is a case scenario where the AI growth engineering it's really useful. I didn't do anything crazy. I just inserted AI where it needed. I improve everything, and they told me that the approval rate of quotation went from 2 days 2 person, and only one customer out of 20 accepted their quotation, to literally 1 hour 1 person, and they increase to from 1 of 20 to 5 of 20. So they had a 400% increase even in job entry. That is amazing, to be honest. AI is really useful in jobs, but as I said, you don't need to eliminate the renderist, because now a lot of people would have just eliminated the people that render everything, just use AI. That is wrong, because you need to the render for building after the product, of course. So this is all. Comment if you want me to build a case scenario, or if you need this role for your company. I'm open even at freelancing, and See you soon.